Learn all about living in Oaxaca, Mexico from Expat Ana Eva in this video interview with expats in Mexico.
Everybody told me, gotta go see Oaxaca. And so I came here with the girls and I really loved it. And I thought, oh, let me just stay 3-4 months. And my whole life changed in 3-4 months. So 2 years later, I'm still here.
How did it change? What was it about Oaxaca that changed your life?
I mean, I really loved the quiet, calm, and simple lifestyle. You know, it has something magical about it. That's what I loved. But everything just fell into place. I found a really nice house. And for me, it was pretty affordable, you know, because I had still my income from the store from Europe. So with that amount of money, like in Europe, I would have, still lived with my parents, or I would have, needed social services. Whereas here, I could afford a cleaning lady, I could afford a nanny, I could send my kids to private school. I had extra money to invest or start a business, and I could live in a really nice house. And that made me feel really good as a single mom, because of course you have many worries that you feel like, well, what if I can't afford the kind of life that the standard I'm used to, and B, the safe or nice life I want for my kids. Or even just the time, as a single mother, when the kids are so small, you need to really use all the time that you can. So having somebody that cleans or cooks or anything, or watches the girls, is super helpful.
What's your house like?
I have a beautiful 2-story, 3-bedroom house, large windows, big garden. I live on a cul-de-sac road right by the river. I mean, the river's dried out, so I just have trees in front of my house.
Sounds beautiful.
And it's really, really beautiful. I just keep thinking, if I were to live in California or somewhere like that, and I would want a house like that I have now, I would be paying 5 times the amount probably.
How much are you paying a month for that?
I'm paying 15,000 pesos, so about 750 or 800.
How far are you from Centro?
I'm pretty much I'm located in a wonderful neighborhood. I'm about 10 minutes walking to the center.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. But it's on a private road, so I don't have any cars crossing or passing. There's no pedestrians because everybody thinks it's kind of closed off at the entrance. And so it's completely quiet. It's kind of like a nature hideout, super close to the center.
And it's convenient for the kids' school too?
Yeah, the school's a little further away. We just changed school, but I have a car. And so I take them in the morning with the car to school. We used to walk to school before, but I'm not the biggest fan walking around with my kids, just because, Mexico, they're not like the safest drivers. There's no sidewalks really. It's not really laid out for people walking. I mean, you definitely can in the center, but just with 2 little toddlers,
Sure.
And then sometimes the sun and things like that. So I do prefer doing my runs in the car.
Tell us about your business. What's the name of your business?
My business is called Villa Verde, and it's located in Jalatlaco. Jalatlaco just got rated like the 17th coolest neighborhood all over the world. You might have seen it by a travel magazine. They just wrote an article about it. And it started off last year. I opened it as a hostel. So I rented a really huge building, 2 floors, but it had like 10 rooms, about 10 rooms, and also a business area downstairs, a couple of rooms like face the street. And I started off as a hostel until I realized I personally never stayed in a hostel. And when I opened one, I just realized, this is really not the type of customer or client I want to attract. So I redid the concept. I ended up renting the bottom area to a bunch of different organic shops and businesses, which is now kind of, it's like a mini organic plaza, little mini wellness organic shopping center that's on the ground level. And on the top floor is a guest house. The guest house has 6 bedrooms, 1 kids' playroom, all private rooms, so no more shared rooms or anything like that. And the top floor, we have the rooftop, which we totally built by ourselves. There was basically no rooftop before that.
And what's on the rooftop? Is that like a swimming pool or something, or with a view?
No,
or?
the weight wouldn't. No, it's just a nice little, like a little palapa. It's just a really nice 360 view of all Oaxaca. So just kind of like a hangout spot. We're building a kitchen up there right now, a little outdoor kitchen.
How nice. So
Yeah.
the level that you built that has the 6 bedrooms, that's they're rented individually then.
Yes, so far, yes, but we also have lots of groups, families, and retreats. So in January, for example, we have for 2 months an artist retreat that someone from New York is holding, and she's inviting different artists every week. Over the holidays, we have lots of large families that come, groups. My idea is right now, yes, we are renting a lot, kind of the single rooms to different travelers, solo travelers and couples. But my idea is this year, starting this year, I want to just focus on groups, retreats, families. And so they can just rent the entire space upstairs. It's easier to just, tend to one big group versus lots of different single travelers.
And do you have yoga classes there also?
Yes, we also have yoga classes. We have yoga classes and kids activities too. But right now, since we're redoing the rooftop, we have a little hold on the yoga classes until that's remodeled. And the kids' playroom, I'm deciding this new year to quit it. So we had baby yoga and kids yoga. But we don't have really a lot of families that reserve. The idea was that we host mainly to families and give them a kids-friendly space and a playroom and offer the kids yoga classes. But we have very few families that actually reserve. So, the solo travelers aren't a really big fan of the baby yoga classes that are happening.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah.
So, are you pretty well integrated into the expat community in Oaxaca?
Yeah, I do believe so. Most expats, I actually meet online. So I used to meet them. There's a nice little organic market. And when I had more time, when I wasn't in my business every day, I would hang out at the market and I would meet people, that come, that go, that live here. But since I really stopped doing that, I mainly meet all the foreigners online on Facebook, which there's a couple groups, in Oaxaca that people love to join and be part of, expat groups where they exchange information. I created a housing group in Oaxaca too. So the group, by itself ended up growing to 900 people now. And so a lot of people meet me through that because if often either I rent my space, I also work for a couple local Mexican women and help them rent their space as a vacation home. And so through that, I meet a lot of new expats that come to town and that want to settle, that are looking for a place or looking for advice.
So if I'm a person who wants to live in Oaxaca, I would contact you about finding a place to rent.
Possibly. I might refer you at this point to somebody else.
You're too busy.
I could maybe point you. Yeah, if I don't have something that fits, I always have. Right now I have, 2-3 apartments up my sleeve that I know of. But some people are very particular in what they want. And if the search goes further, I know I have some really good contacts for brokers and real estate agents if I don't happen to have something I know of, then I prefer referring them to someone else.
What's the cost of living like down there? If someone was to move there, like a single person who's going to move to Oaxaca, what would be an annual budget that you would recommend to give them a nice lifestyle?
Well, I don't think I'm the best person to ask because I like to spend money and live good. I know from many other people they live on a budget. I think housing went up a lot. It depends if you want your own place or if you have a shared place. What I've noticed about the expat community, a lot of young people come here because they don't want to work. They come here to relax and kind of, or even retired people. Most people come to Oaxaca because they don't really want to work. So I'm a bad example because I'm a workaholic. And I've noticed, yeah. I noticed with a lot of people that they try to live on they maybe have an internet job or they teach English. And so they live on a very low budget. They rent a room, they buy in the markets their food, they cook their food. They don't spend a lot of money because they prefer having more time, free time. But I do think probably with about 10,000 pesos, you could live pretty well. I think
10,000 pesos a month.
People probably don't earn that, but even less, maybe 8,000. But then you have to probably share a room or,
yeah. Well, that's a pretty slim budget. That's about $500 a month.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely live. I mean, as a single young person, renting a room somewhere, renting a room is about 3,500 pesos, and then you'd still have a good 7,000 or something for food and expenses.
Right. So if you had a couple of $1,000s a month to live on, you'd live quite well there.
Very well. I definitely agree. I mean, it just depends, I mean, for me, obviously my expenses are much higher because I have two girls. I have to, pay all of that. And, but I also, I'm picky, I like to eat organic food, I like the nice lifestyle and I like to spend. And so, but that's why I work for it,
What are the three things that you love best about living in Oaxaca?
The climate, that's definitely one thing.
It's pretty much spring year round there, isn't it?
Yes, it's just summer every day. Yeah, I love that.
And it cools off at night.
Yes, now it started cooling off at night and in the mornings too. And I'm definitely not used to it. I mean, the temperature drops a little bit. I'm already walking around like it's deep winter.
What else besides the weather do you love about Oaxaca?
What I really love is the architecture, the colorful houses, and the vegetation, all the flowers, all the exotic kind of plants. It's very inspiring to me living in a place that's so colorful. So I really enjoy that. And that it's really quiet and calm. It's a really relaxed place, It kind of, many people say it's like a little town. I mean, it feels like a big city, yet it feels like a little town. I remember the first time when I arrived and I was walking where Santo Domingo is, I just thought, I really like this place. Like, there's so many people, but it's almost silent, Of course, not all the time. Of course, you have, the gas and the dogs and this and that, but it has such a relaxed and quiet vibe to it. That's what I really love about Oaxaca.
Even though it's over 600,000 people in population.
You can't feel it.
Yeah.
Well, feels great. Like 50,000.
Well, what about the food? Oaxaca is very well known for being a real foodie place.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love the food. That's for sure. It's strange, Yes, Oaxaca is known as a big foodie place. But I've also heard there's so many chefs come here, and I've heard a few chefs complain saying that the variation is missing. So of course you get all the seven different types of mole, and you get all the Mexican standard, the food that they have in Oaxaca, which is incredible, and all that variety. But there's very few options for like Chinese, Japanese, you know. I'm really happy. I feel like there are some really, really nice restaurants, you know, five-star restaurants, Michelin style restaurants, and they're really affordable compared to anywhere else in the world. So you can definitely eat really high quality food, and that's another thing that I love too.
But you can also go to local neighborhood restaurants and eat extremely well for not much money.
For very little, absolutely. Yes, I agree.
How's your Spanish?
Excelente.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Likewise, thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.